Good afternoon, you're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill News. First, we have a story from the Daily Caller. Bruce Ohr testimony undercuts Adam Schiff's defense of the FBI. The Justice Department official Bruce Ohr's testimony about his meetings with FBI officials regarding dossier author Christopher Steele severely undercuts claims made in 2018 by California Rep. Adam Schiff and his fellow Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee. Ohr told lawmakers August 28, 2018, he briefed top FBI officials Andrew McCabe and Lisa Page in early August 2016, just days after he met with Steele, a former British spy who was investigating then-candidate Donald Trump. Ohr testified he told McCabe and Page about his interactions with Steele, who was working at the time for Fusion GPS, a Democrat-funded opposition research firm. The FBI relied heavily on Steele's unverified dossier to obtain Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act warrants against former Trump campaign advisor Carter Page. Republicans have focused on the Ohr's link to the dossier and Steele. In a memo dated February 2, 2018, House Intelligence Republicans, led by then-Chairman Devin Nunes, asserted the FBI failed to disclose in their FISA applications that Ohr's wife, Nellie, worked for Fusion GPS. They also noted in the so-called Nunes memo that the FISA applications do not reveal Steele's anti-Trump bias. Ohr claims Steele told him during a meeting on September 23, 2016, he was desperate that Trump not win the election. How's that for a little bias? Ohr testified he had shared details of his contacts with Steele with the FBI prior to the election. In addition to the meeting in early August 2016, Ohr met in late September 2016 or early the next month with Page, FBI Counterintelligence Deputy Peter Strzok, and Justice Department officials Bruce Swartz, Zainab Ahmad, and Andrew Weissman. Ahmad and Weissman are currently working on the special counsel's investigation. The FBI obtained its first FISA act against Page on October 21, 2016, weeks after that meeting. Ohr's testimony conflicts with House Intelligence Democrats' claim in a memo released February 24, 2018, that served as a rebuttal to the Nunes memo. That document sought to defend the FBI's handling of the Steele dossier and its applications for the first FISA warrant. Democrats asserted Ohr did not meet with the FBI until after the 2016 election, and thus had no opportunity to tell the FBI his wife worked for Fusion GPS. He was also unable to relay that Steele had communicated anti-Trump bias to him. Republicans mischaracterized Bruce Ohr's role, overstates the significance of his interactions with Steele, and misleads about the time frame of Ohr's communication with the FBI, the so-called Schiff memo reads. Democrats claimed only in late November 2016, Ohr informed the FBI of his prior professional relationship with Steele and information that Steele had shared with him. This occurred weeks after the election and more than a month after the court approved the initial FISA application, reads the memo, which included the emphasis on after. The majority's reference to Bruce Ohr is misleading, Democrats asserted. The revelations in Ohr's testimony create a bit of a dilemma for Schiff, who is chairman of the House Intelligence Panel. In a February 6, 2018 interview with The Atlantic, Schiff remarked on how flawed the Nunes memo is. Well, I think that, once again, that is an act of projection on behalf of Adam Schiff, because we know now, after seeing Bruce Ohr's testimony, if you guys watched the video that I did earlier, then it becomes so obvious that there was many opportunities that Bruce had, and he did, inform the FBI of exactly the type of mindset Christopher Steele was in while making the dossier and his various memos. So the FBI was fully aware, and then even after that time, they sought to reestablish contact with Christopher Steele, knowing full well his potential bias. I don't even want to say potential, but they knew that he was biased, and they knew that he was desperate that Donald Trump not win the election. Next, we have another story from the Daily Caller, and this is about Sheila Jackson Lee. We all remember her and her special ring. A lawsuit claims that Sheila Jackson Lee fired a staffer to cover up an assault. A former aide to Representative Sheila Jackson Lee alleges that she was assaulted by a Congressional Black Caucus Foundation staffer in October 2015. The staffer says she was fired once the Congresswoman learned she planned to sue the foundation, which Jackson Lee chairs. The aide is suing Jackson Lee in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. A former aide to Democratic Rep. Sheila Jackson Lee of Texas filed a civil suit against the lawmaker and the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, alleging she was fired for threatening legal action against the foundation relating to an assault. The complaint alleges Jackson Lee and the CBCF intentionally inflicted emotional distress, unlawfully interfered with contract, and violated the Congressional Accountability Act and Washington, D.C.'s Human Rights Statute. It is the second time in recent years that a former employee sued the Congresswoman for her infamous employment practices. The lawsuit was filed January 11th in Washington's federal trial court and names both Jackson Lee's office and the foundation as defendants. The plaintiff, referred to in court filings as Jane Doe, is seeking damages. Neither Jackson Lee nor the CBCF responded to requests for comment. The plaintiff was allegedly assaulted on October 24, 2015, when she was a student at Howard University and an intern with the CBCF. By Doe's telling of events, an intern coordinator named Damian Jones plied her with alcohol over dinner in a Washington-area Mexican restaurant before leading her back to his apartment, where he continually accosted the plaintiff with alcohol and marijuana. Text messages indicate Doe solicited help from friends but was too intoxicated to confirm her location. Doe claims Jones digitally penetrated her and forced her to perform OS during their encounter. She says she awoke the following morning naked, with Jones straddling her body. Miss Doe at no point consented to Mr. Jones touching her private areas or to performing OS or to engage in any other act of contact or for him to be removing her clothes, the complaint reads. A forensic kit was subsequently administered at a local hospital, and the Washington Metropolitan Police Department opened a criminal probe. A forensic investigation identified Jones' DNA on Doe's chest. Jones's profile might also match other DNA samples recovered from the plaintiff's body, though a definitive determination cannot be made. CBCF officials subsequently met with Doe to discuss her allegations. Jones left the foundation in December 2015, approximately 1 month after the alleged assault, and most recently worked as a Houston area political director for Beto O'Rourke's failed Senate bid, according to his LinkedIn profile. 2 years later, in 2017, Jackson Lee hired Doe as a special assistant in her Washington office. Doe worked on the Congresswoman's staff for less than 6 months before her termination in March 2018. 3 weeks prior to her dismissal, Doe told a senior staff member that she planned to move forward with legal action against the CBCF arising from her alleged encounter with Jones, and sought a private consultation with Jackson Lee to discuss the matter. At that time, Jackson Lee served as a chair of the foundation. Doe says she was told her termination was a function of budgetary constraints. She believes that explanation was untrue, and the Congresswoman hired additional staff and gave raises to others shortly before and immediately after her dismissal. As such, Doe believes her firing was a straightforward attempt to head off her pending lawsuit against the CBCF. Jackson Lee's office carries a degree of notoriety on Capitol Hill. Data compiled at the Congressional Employment Portal Legistorm shows a 59% turnover rate on her staff between 2001 and 2017. Washingtonian magazine has repeatedly styled Jackson Lee the meanest member of the House. Former aides have described the Congresswoman's behavior as derisive and erratic. Another former aide sued the Congresswoman in 2011, alleging Jackson Lee persistently disregarded her ocular disability and intentionally cultivated a hostile work environment. That lawsuit was dismissed in 2015. Well, I certainly believe that this story is highly probable. Jackson Lee, her temperament is described fairly well in that article, and I also believe that she would not be hesitant to fire someone out of retaliation. I think that we know exactly the type of person that Sheila Jackson Lee is, and this story does not surprise me. Now, lastly, in one more story from the Daily Caller, top Obama White House lawyer made false statements to DOJ about Manafort-related work. The Justice Department is alleging that the former Obama White House general counsel made false and misleading statements regarding consulting work done for Ukraine. Greg Craig was lead partner for the law firm Skadden Arps on its Ukraine work, which was done in partnership with Paul Manafort, the former Trump campaign chairman. Skadden Arps agreed Thursday to settle with the Justice Department by registering as a foreign agent of Ukraine and paying a $4.6 million fine. Craig's fate remains uncertain. The former general counsel for President Obama made false and misleading statements to the Justice Department regarding work he did for the Ukrainian government that has come under scrutiny in the special counsel's probe. Greg Craig's allegedly false statements were revealed in a settlement announced Thursday by the Justice Department. The agency announced it was settling with Craig's former firm, Skadden Arps, Slate, Meagher, and Flom, which worked with former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort on behalf of Ukraine beginning in 2012. Skadden Arps agreed to register retroactively with the Justice Department as a foreign agent of Ukraine and to pay a $4.6 million fine, the same amount that the firm was paid for its consulting work. Craig, who left Skadden Arps in April 2018, is not identified by name in the Justice Department announcement, but he has previously been identified as the lead Skadden Arps partner who worked on its Ukraine account. Other clues from the Justice Department settlement point to Craig as the lead partner referenced in the case. As part of the settlement, Skadden Arps acknowledged that it acted on behalf of the Ukrainian government by contributing to a public relations campaign directed at select members of the U.S. news media in 2012. Craig and others at Skadden Arps helped promote a report that raised questions about Yulia Tymoshenko, a former Ukrainian prime minister who was seen as a foe to Viktor Yanukovych, who served as prime minister through 2014. The Justice Department says that it contacted Skadden Arps in 2012 and 2013 about registering under the Foreign Agents Registration Act after the law firm released a report that defended Tymoshenko's imprisonment. But the firm ended up not registering under FARA based on false assurances provided by Skadden Arps' partner. A partner then at Skadden Arps made false and misleading statements to the FARA unit, which led it to conclude in 2013 that the firm was not obligated to register under FARA, the Justice Department said. The facts, when uncovered, showed that Skadden was indeed required to register in 2012, and under the agreement, it will do so retroactively. The Skadden Arps Media Outreach Center, mostly on a report about Tymoshenko that was finalized in December 2012. According to the Justice Department, the Skadden Arps lead partner, seemingly Craig, contacted a major national newspaper on December 12, 2012, to provide a preview of the report as well as a quotation. The news outlet appears to be the New York Times, no surprise there, which quoted Craig in an article laying out Skadden Arps' report regarding Tymoshenko. The Skadden Arps report determined that some of Tymoshenko's legal rights were violated during her trial in Ukraine, but it ultimately sided against Tymoshenko and with Yanukovych's administration. Craig, who contacted the newspaper, is quoted in the article saying that, "We leave to others the question of whether this prosecution was politically motivated. Our assignment was to look at the evidence in the record and determine whether the trial was fair." According to the Justice Department, the Skadden Arps partner provided misleading statements about the dissemination of the Tymoshenko report and the interactions with the media. In both written and oral responses to the FARA unit between February 6, 2013 and October 11, 2013, Skadden, in reliance on their lead partner, made false and misleading statements, including, among other things, that Skadden provided a copy of the report only in response to requests from the media and spoke to the media to correct misinformation about the report that the media was already reporting, the Justice Department said. The agency also asserted that the Skadden Arps partner's pre-release outreach to the journalist was consistent with Ukraine's media strategy for the report. That strategy involved leaking the report prior to its official release so as to effectively set the agenda for subsequent coverage, according to the DOJ. Why does that sound so familiar? It is unclear whether Craig faces any legal jeopardy in the case or whether he concurs with the Skadden Arps settlement. The government's agreement with Skadden Arps explicitly states that the settlement does not protect current or former partners from criminal liability. CNN reported on September 15, 2018, that the Justice Department was weighing charges against Craig, who left the Obama White House on January 3, 2010. An attorney for Craig responded, "No comment," to an inquiry by the DCNF. The settlement closes one chapter of the ongoing saga over the Ukraine lobbying effort. Two other firms, the Podesta Group and Mercury Public Affairs, are also reportedly the subject of an investigation into the Ukraine work. Manafort has pleaded guilty in the special counsel's investigation to working as an unregistered foreign agent for Ukraine. He was convicted on August 21, 2018 for money laundering and fraud related to money he made on the Ukrainian consulting gig. So there's a couple of things in this article that are very important, which is why I read it. The first is right here, Podesta Group and Mercury Public Affairs. They are under investigation currently. The reason that they have not been charged yet, the reason that nothing has, been finalized and come out is because they are the largest piece behind all of this work that should have been done as a foreign agent, but it was not, and they are connected to you-know-who. Now, we've also got this little piece up here about the strategy for leaking this stuff. Now, these people who were all involved with Hillary Clinton and the Obama White House, they have this strategy that was suspiciously similar to the same strategy that was used for the Steele dossier. So my point is that the deep state has done this before. How many times in history have you guys seen this? Anytime they find somebody that they want to take out, all right, they make this report, they slide it into the public sphere like this, give it to a journalist, and then bam, it gets reported on, and then it's legitimized. Well, the time has come for this kind of crap to end. And the reason that all of these things are being brought forward is because Donald Trump is making it so that these things have light shed upon them. And these people are going to pay. And they're going to pay for a lot more than just the FARA violations. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. My name is Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector. This has been your Red Pill News Brief. If anyone would like to help me and support my work, then there is information in the description box below. I want to thank everyone who has supported me in the past. I'm going to be listing a whole bunch of names on Saturday during the live stream, and all those people are very special to me. Everyone here is very special to me, and I so appreciate everyone's patronage and your willingness to watch my videos and all of the kind comments that I get. Even the comments from the trolls, I know that I'm hitting a nerve, so that means something. Thank you, everyone. Good night, and God bless.